Welcome to selfdiscoveryradio.com, where the orchard of wisdom is just ready for picking. We celebrate your why, the journey that you've taken that inspires someone else. We support your services, we support your story. Come and be our guest, become a host, be an author with us. Come and see what we've got. Our next show is... Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, and a happy new year. And what a new year we have to bring to you. And starting it off is our wonderful guest under the Eco Solutions and Let's Get Sync series, Hindou, and I'm not going to pronounce it because I will dishonor her name. Please, what is your name, love, in your own language?
Hindou Oumarou Ibrahim.
You see, how could I say it as beautifully as that? And this is truly an extraordinary young woman who is for her young age, I am mind blown. I'm just going to give you a tiny little bit of what she stands for. She's an expert in the adaptation of Indigenous peoples to the migration of climate change, a traditional knowledge of the adaptation of the pastoralists in Africa, expert on women and climate change in Africa, co-chair international of Indigenous Peoples Forum and climate change, representing CSO and the UNCCD, member of the Policy Board of the United Nations, Indigenous Peoples Partnership, member of the Executive Committee, Indigenous Peoples of Africa Coordinating Committee, representative Congo Basin. I mean, when does she have time to breathe? Because she does so much. And we're very honored to have her here. And this is our third time lucky because we have had either bad connections while you were in Egypt or other things happen. Finally, we're here, and what a way to start off the new year. And thank you so much for being with us here today, love.
It's a great pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Now, so young to be doing so much and to take on such a big platform. This had to be something that was a driving force from when you were young.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, actually, I started in very young age when I went to the primary school, and then I felt myself like different by the other kids, just like saying, she's coming from Bruges, she's from the indigenous peoples. But being young, you do not understand why. But when I started growing up a little bit, then I found myself like, oh, why people are taking me that? And then I started the movement.
Mm-hmm. And I say this all the time, is that if we listen to our children, their gifts of what they're going to be or what they're going to do, their calling are given when they're young. And for some children, it's very strong and you can see it in them, and they have parents that nurture that, allow it to happen, guide them on that path. And then, of course, there's the other where it's no, you must conform and you must follow tradition. To have such a calling so young, did you have extremely supportive parents around you that recognized this calling in you?
Yeah, I mean, having a parents that who didn't went to school, and then just coming from the community, I have like two different category. My mom have been very, very supportive, and my dad have been very conservative and very traditional guy. So then it's like the two fight between my parents, one who wants to send us to school, and then having the two culture, and then the other side like, no, my kids cannot go there because they cannot lose them culture, them identities. And then my mom, it's a very hard and iron woman. So then she starts saying like, they can get the two culture. My kids can do not lose their identity, and then they can have a value add from the schools. So then my dad like, okay, fine, I'm not going to give you any single cents that your kids go to school because this is really not my choice. And then my mom say like, okay, fine, I will do that myself. But the poor lady to now, she wake up very early from the 4 a.m. She get us ready the breakfast, send us to school. And then sometimes she follow us to school just to give us some snack because she was in the town. She do not have a lot of money that to give us go eat to the restaurant or something. And then now we come back home. She look after us. She do not know how to give us the lesson, but she just make sure that our time is well used. During the holidays, when we have one holiday, she sent us to the community. And that's why like I know how to use milk, how to sell milk, how to go after the cattle and everything. And then I go to school. So how my two parents deal with it. But now both of them are so proud.
Yes.
And I joke with my dad. I said like, do you remember the time that you are saying my mom that just like shut up.
Well, what they gave you was the two sides of the coin, you know, looking at from two perspectives. And in having that, it gave you the balance of bringing both of these perspectives to the forefront. You know, your father, right? And like, you don't want you to lose your heritage, your culture. And your mother saying, but yes, she needs to have opportunities, you know, that maybe we didn't have, that she needs to have in the world. And that means that you have to embrace new opportunities and new cultures. But this idea that we have to throw out the old in order to embrace the new is not correct. It is bringing what's best of the old culture along with us in this new paradigm, in this new journey of life, and creating new traditions to pass on to our families, isn't it?
Definitely. So for us, it's really how to find this balance.
Yes.
The balance between tradition, culture, the best of them, and then the balance of the world moving through a globalization, through language, through a special, integration of the community. So how we can combine both of them. And for us, like we are a very traditional community, and our culture is the one who leads us to protect the environment, to respect the social life, and to embrace the other in the peaceful way. So then when you go to school, it's completely different. You can make friends, but always in like a competitive way. You have to be the best one. You have to get the best job. So to combine both of them, I think it's built my life. It's built me completely. And then it's built me, open my eyes to see that the injustice in the world, where you have vulnerable communities and when you have like a rich one, so how we can make the two to share better our knowledge and to come back in the earth and say like we are a human. It doesn't matter, but we are a human, so we have to support each other. And then this like have to come from when we grow up.
Yeah.
So what
it's the values, isn't it? You know, is in the last 30, 40 years, opulence and self-righteousness and entitlement came into being, and that more is more. You need to have more to be important in life, to be of value in life. And that then became kind of the raping and the pillaging of our planet, of our cultures, of our dignity, of our very humanity. And, you know, I love what Robert Gierek, and I hope that you listen to him under the Let's Get Sync series, and you should definitely meet him, a German gentleman with Pure Necessity as his company. And his is the 3 Ps: people, planet, for profit, not profit at the expense of people and planet. And we've been doing it wrong. And if we don't value human life, you know, it's humanimal, I call it now, human and animal together, humanimal. If we don't value all life, if we don't value the beautiful gift of this planet we're on, then we will be the destroyers, which we are at the present moment. And Mother Earth is kicking back, saying we're not going to take this anymore. But we're not happy. We have no sense of culture. We have no sense of belonging. And we also are very, very lost people in what is the meaning of life, because it isn't about having more or being the most popular or important. It is about our community, isn't it? It is about each other.
Right. I completely agree. Really, I love that. People's planet and yes, profit.
Yes.
So like for us, how we combine that, we see that from our life when we grow up. So how we are living in the harmony with the nature, because for us nature, it's not only like having the trees, then it's beautiful to go to the safari. No, nature's giving us food, nature's giving us water, nature's giving us medicine. So even the chemical medicine that they are doing, it's coming from the nature. So all this we are as human beings depend from this environment. So how are we going to give it back? to protect this environment in order that it protect us. Because anyway, we've known the allure that we are going to need, so environment do not need us. We can,
No, no, it can survive much better without us.
no, so we need the environment. So why not we cannot just put people's planet and then profile?
Yes.
Even the people who have the profile, they can be rich as anything.
Yeah,
At
exactly.
the end of the day, they go back to the earth.
Reseed,
So,
reseed.
yeah,
Yes, reseed the opportunities.
about recycling. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that life is doing recycling is very natural way, and then we need to ignore these recycles.
Yeah.
So how are we going to protect this earth who take us, who recycle us, and then to leave it, at least we can live in the better harmony. And anyone then who can say like, I'm popular or I'm rich, you cannot be popular if there is no people who can look you that you are popular.
Right.
So why you have to ignore? So you have to respect these people, share with them, and then you can become, yes, more popular. So the idea of having the justice, sharing, balance, it's really not like, the word important is not defining. It's like fear for everybody.
Right.
And fear for the trees, fear for the animals.
Yeah.
Human being can talk. We are destroying. But
Yes.
how about the trees? How about the animals? They deserve life. And then they know how they protect. They never like use all the resources in destroyment, but they use it on the sustainable way. And this is the example of the grazing of our communities. So when you take a cattle, it's not that you say you have to move from one place to another one. It's your cattle who make you follow them.
Right.
So for examples, when the dry season ends, the rain season is coming. So we do not have like meteorological information that we check in our phone to see it, but we have the instinct of the animals, of the trees. So the cattle start lying down, facing them head to the south. So they smile that the rain season is coming, but like 1 month before. And then they do not want to stay to this place, they want to move. And then when they start moving, like you who are human being, you have no other choice just to follow them. So this is thing where they know exactly how they can copy the environment. They do not talk. So why we cannot follow our instinct to protect also by copying what environment is telling us?
That's the thing, Mother Nature, it's this world's ecological system is absolutely phenomenal. The way nothing is wasted. Wasted becomes, the manure, the source for something else to grow. Even the death, the disintegration of going back into the earth, feeding the earth, everything is about that. But it's also not just about the obvious of everything going back into nature, but it's also the matrix and the vibration, Mother Earth's vibration. And that's how do the cattle know? Do they feel the moisture in the air? Is it a vibration they feel from the ground? Is it something that's instinctual within them, their own chemistry? And the thing is, we have not listened to nature. We haven't listened to this earth. She speaks to us in so many ways. She connects with us in so many ways. We do everything from this head up, and we don't incorporate the heart, the soul, and the spirit. When you look to an animal, they're not using their head. They're using their heart, their spirit. They're tapped into that beautiful divine matrix of the earth. They instinctually know because they're open to receiving. We've got this self-importance that because we have this intellect, we must be the smartest species on the world. Yet, how come we're the most destructive? How come we're in such dire straits right now? Maybe because we haven't listened to the heart, the spirit, and the intuition that's there, that's guiding us, because Mother Nature knows how to do it, right?
Absolutely. I think the disconnection of our relation with the Mother Nature is making us all the consequences that we are living now.
Yes.
As human beings, we always say we have to set up like the short-term, medium-term, long-term objective.
Yes.
But I think all the
5-year plan.
they are very short. Because if they are long-term, we must listen to the nature. Excuse me. So what the nature is telling us is not only like one indicators.
Yeah.
There is several indicators that we have to look through. There is the trees. When the trees are flowering, when the trees are having fruits, then there is birds. When the birds migrate from one place to another one, and then you have insects who are the very little one. When they leave from one place to another one, when they are giving the babies, when they are protecting the generations, because they know how to do that.
Yes.
But as human beings, we are the one who are stunting them through the, okay, we want to have a big infrastructure, we want to have a big dam here, we want to have a petrol, but do we really need that to make our life happy?
No.
I don't think so. And beyond that, maybe, okay, the environment in the earth, yes, but we have other indicators from the sky. We have the hundreds of thousands of millions of stars. Those stars communicate with us. The cloud who form, they communicate with us. The wind who go, they communicate with us. So if I say that, like the concrete example that I can give, at the community, when the season change, it's changed through stars. So we are not following all the stars, but there are 28 of them that we observe from the sky. And we know each of them stay 13 days and then disappear. When they appear 13 days and they disappear. Only one of them will stay 14 days. And this is during the rain season in the middle. But when we make a mathematic account, because I know people not need statistic numbers, so you have 28 by time 13 plus 1 is 360. Right. This gives us exactly the year cycle. So the moon calendar for us, based to the star and based to the sun position and moon's position, that never change. And those cycling, we use them to make our traditional vaccinations. All the epidemic who are coming to the world. So when we use the exact timing, we get our traditional medicine, and then it's easy, it's from the food. Right. You can milk, honey, so it's depend from the hours and time. You limit the epidemiological sickness that coming.
Yes.
So it's communicated from nature.
Yes.
So why are we like complicating our life to do all the industrialized revolutions, but who extracts all the fossils and make the climate change, make the environment become difficult? In some places very hot, another one is very cold, who make the food insecurity like the one we are living in Sahel. Right. It's making me so sad because I know exactly how people are struggling just to get the food, just to get the water. But they deserve it because they are also the peoples of this planet.
Right. And we're going back to the balance again, like the beginning of the show of your father and mother, right? It's bringing old traditions into new ones, but they have to be in sync with one another. You know, there's nothing wrong with new technology if that technology enhances, right? Not removes. The whole problem with our planet change right now. Now, we have to also understand the planet is always going to go through changes. The changes happen so slowly as a rule that we in a lifetime don't really acknowledge it. But when you look back on centuries, you look at how the earth has changed and its slow, you know, evolution of what it does. But we have escalated that change beyond its balance. And the reason why we you know, in California, they just had that terrible fire that was like a volcanic fire that just engulfed. They weren't flames, it was a ball of fire that had just engulfed everybody in its wake there. And then of course you've got another place where the flooding is just, I mean, they've never had it before, and there they are floating. And it's the imbalance, and that imbalance is human made. It is from the drilling, it is from the fracking, it is from taking resources from this planet without giving anything back. It is based entirely and utterly on greed, consumerism. And you see, we look to these companies that are doing this, But we've got to understand, if there wasn't a need for it, if they weren't supplying something that we wanted, there wouldn't be any profit for them, so they wouldn't do it. So we as consumers have to look at, what are we buying? What's in it that's harming what? Like palm oil and the rainforest. We have to be more educated as human beings and not just take things for granted, because we're not showing any gratitude, we're not showing any respect. And we can't keep blaming everyone else or governments, or the oil people, all this and that, because they're supplying our need. If we really check what we need, we'll realize we don't need 90% of what we think we need. It's already being provided for us right in our backyards.
It's completely the world of consumption and production.
Yes.
So how we can just have a sustainable production, but we cannot have sustainable production if we don't have sustainable consumptions.
Yeah. How
are we going to consume just what we need to do not go beyond? When you take just to the house of someone, you can have also 80% of the things that we do not need it, but we just keep them with us, and we still buying them more.
Right.
So why? The reason is like, why? So the reason is every time that the production's coming with the new things who will be adding, and then as consumers, we say like, oh, this is very special. I need this new one to add in my whatever that I have home. And then it's create like these channels of just going around and around, buying and consumption. So at the end of the day, we say like, okay, we want to save the planet, but we cannot save the planet if we cannot stop our own behavior, if we cannot change it. And then people used to ask like, this is really so sad when we explain the impact of the climate change, impact of the land degradation back home in the vulnerable community. They say like, oh my God, we really wanted to have as individual level what I can do. I say like, you can do a lot. Yes. You can think about yourself, how you can change your life, how you can use the sustainability. Because in developed countries, people go to the supermarket to buy them supply, to buy every food. They go to the pharmacy to buy all the medications. So for us, we go to the brooch and then we take something that it's sustainable when the brooch give us, and then we return back the rest. So how we can get this balance from the development? Because when they add 1 centime into the supermarket, you have many people who work out and who say like, oh, you are adding the price, we need that. So they make like work outside discussions. So for us, when the brooch is disappearing, are we going to work to who? To each government to complain, to say like, oh, now you don't have this food. So to use it in a sustainable way, when we go to the market, we know what are we buying. And then the competition between the big companies, like the food companies. One supermarket put like, okay, my meat is like 20 euro a kilo. And then the other one say like, it's the same, but I keep it 18 euro. And then the other one come back. So these competitions are also not giving them benefit, but doing them using more resources, but in the bad way. Why they cannot put just like a good things in a one price?
Yes.
And we know the origin, where it's come from, how we are using it, and why we are buying it in this price, because it's protecting people's, protecting planet.
Yes.
So that people use it in the sustainable way, and then we can get this balance between sustainable consumptions and sustainable productions for the long term, to live for the next coming. We are not alone. We have our grandchildren.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I have children at the present moment who are debating having children, saying so many people in the world, what's their future? You know, and there's a lot of millennials like that are going, you know, this world is a mess right now. Do I want to bring a generation in there? We're going to see a decline of the generation because, you know, I'm part of the old yuppie generation. We're slowly dying out, right? And then there are less children being born. A bit more people seeking purpose, seeking careers, seeking other things before they think of having children and having less kids. And I think that is Mother Nature's way too of bringing about a balance, saying we have so many people on the planet that at the rate that we're pillaging the planet itself cannot sustain us. So we're going to see that natural evolution of certain humans dying up and a bit more of a balance. At the same time, what we have to see is, if we understand how the indigenous people have lived for thousands of years, the way they listen to the land, the way they value the land, the way they come together as a community, the way they're happy with what they have. Yes, of course, they'd love more security. Yes, of course, they would love to have more opportunities. But again, who's richer? The person in the big 5,000 square foot house gilded with gold and, working 18 hours a day to sustain the mortgage, or the person that has a community where they grow their own food, they're there to support one another, they know they're loved, they know they're counted on and supported. I mean, who's richer? And I think we've gone about that people who have chosen still to live in an old way. Oh, they're natives, they're ignorant, they're not happy. How can they be happy? They're some of the happiest people in the world because they get it. We're the ones that have lost it.
Yeah, I mean, completely. So for us, it's the definition of well-being.
Yeah.
It's the definition of richness. So we have like the World Bank who define being a poor person is earning like less than $1 a day.
Right.
But for us, like, what's the $1? What's the cash? I'm coming from the community. So the community, it's a collective rights.
Right.
So for us, never have individual rights, because individual rights where we can compete every time we want to have more than other, and then we want to use more than other. But having the collective rights of us is how collectively we can respect our land, our territories, our resources, and share it in the better way. So when we come to this, we say like, okay, what is the well-being for us? What is being rich for us? So $1 meaning nothing for us as cash. So I'm rich if I have access to my land. I'm rich if I have access to the natural resources. I'm rich if I am with my peoples. I have my language, I have my traditions. So, but I am poor even if I have $10 a day. I don't have land. I don't have collective rights. So I'm not rich at all. It's not like the $10 who will give me a meal that I can eat, but it's my land who will give me a meal that I will eat every day. Right. And then I'm unsure for the future that I will continue having this food, and then I'm rich on this. And being rich for us also is not having the big building, you have your TV, you have your car, you have this. No, being rich is you have your language, you have your traditions, you know the value of it. So you can just talk about it and be proud of it. Right. And being rich is you have your dignity. As long as your dignity is respect and value add, so you are a rich person. So for us, I think the globalization of the definition of who is rich, who is poor, so it makes the peoples that divide us. Yeah. And it make also, we create this division by saying that I have $100,000 in my bank account, so I'm rich than you who is begging on the street. Like, no, it's not make sense. Even you can have millions, you can have billions. You need a food to eat in your tables, at least 3 meals. Yes. You need water to drink. And you need this natural air to breathe. Because you are rich, you do not create an atmosphere of air that you are breathing in your house separately, when you are in the streets separately than this poor person who are in the brood. Right. So in your tables, the food is this person who's in the rural area who put it in your table, because he's the one who activate and cultivate the land and who put your meal in your table every day. And the water is the nature that giving you drink it, and then it's the same water. Maybe it's not pure, you use the pure one, you use the gas water, then I use the river water, but it still is called water. Yes. So we need those 3 things to survive as human beings. So why not we cannot just think about our brands and say that, so those resources, we need them, so we need to protect them. And we need the peoples who are making it to be valued and to protect them and then to give them the place that they deserve. Also, we need it not only for our small atmosphere, but we need to see beyond.
Yes.
The people who are much vulnerable, who are much affected by our action. So it is our action, but the responsibility. You talked about the fire in California. It makes us very sad when we see it from the far away, and then when people talked about it, we say like, how it's come the natural catastrophe come as fire and then burn everything that you have, burn your life, burn people's lives. So at the end of the day, we say, what do we have? So we have in common being like supportive from the far if we do not know this person. What makes us support these people? The humanity.
Yes.
Because we are human.
Yes.
So this humanity we have in our earth make us equal, make us that we don't want to have the bad thing happen to the peoples anywhere in the earth. We need to stop it. And the only way that we can stop it is think about our consumption, our production, think about the needs that we have, and think about the solidarity that we need to create between the countries, between the peoples, between the generation and the nation who are protected. So I will end by indigenous peoples are protecting 80% of the world biodiversity. We protect it from the mountain, from the desert, from the ice, or from the savanna. So we come from the different corner of the world, but our same objective is how we can live in harmony with the nature. And living in harmony with the nature is respect the rights of the trees, the rights of the birds, the right of the earth, respect the rights of the peoples, and then putting all in the same package. We cannot say we are champion on human rights and then we violate the environment. That's
right. No.
Champion. So we have to be champion on human rights, environment rights, and then it will be the package of the protection of the earth and the planet.
The thing about human rights is it's got misconstrued. It's my right to have. No, it's your right to contribute. It's your right to participate. It's your right and responsibility. I think the word responsibility has been thrown around too much, where we've placed responsibility on governments and on leaders, and we forget we're the leaders in our own lives, of our own lives, and we're responsible for the choices that we make. And that we may not know everything, that the scientists know, the economics know, the this know, that know, but we have to be willing to learn, be willing to change once we do know something. If we don't think this is done in a humane way, then we shouldn't support it anymore. If we think that somebody's rights are being taken away from them out of greed or out of power, somebody's power, dictatorship or manipulation, we need to stand up for those people. And the thing is, a community, and Aboriginal people know this so well, you're only as strong as your community coming together. You have to be there for one another. Good times, bad times, you're there for one another. And one of the things that's happened in humanity, we have split. And it's become I, me, myself, me. And then driven by fear, don't take it away from me. By security, that person's bad for me. And that's all fear driven by the people who are cracking the whip, that are manipulating us and pulling the strings. So we have to take some responsibility and ownership of our own choices and make those choices from a platform of knowledge and of heart, and understand that you are sometimes doing things that you are unknowingly, that is hurting someone else. But once you know, you have to stop that practice. You have to stand up for those people that it is hurting, because nobody else is. And we have to, as a humanity, stand up and say this is wrong. So there's so much to learn from nature. There's so much to learn from Aboriginal people around the world that have lived in harmony, in respect, and in partnership with the planet, with the stars, with their own inner vibration of connection. And they honor that. And we have to, all of us as a united voice, turn to the governments, turn to the organizations, and say accountability. People can have profit, make as much profit as you like, as long as it's not on the backs of others or in the brutality or the harming of any life source. And life source also means planet. This planet is a living organism, and we have to stop hurting it, because she's retaliating, and I certainly don't blame her, right?
Yeah.
We've also got to stop this. As soon as there's a tragedy, we step up and help each other. Why can't we help each other every day? Why aren't we there for each other every day? It's not just when, call to the fire people or call to the flood people. We should be there every day. And then in times of crisis, step it up even more. We've got to remember, I don't care where you live or where I live, we're neighbors. We're a part of this planet. We're all part of the grains of sand here, but each one of us is responsible for our action, our consumption, humanity towards one another, respect for the planet, tapping into our own intuition, but also in feeding the solutions and the possibilities for tomorrow. Nobody's saying go and hug a tree, take away your phone, you can't live in a nice house. Nobody's saying that. But don't do that. That's causing other suffering. And make sure when you are doing it, just do and build to what you need. And don't build because somebody's imposed an image on you of that's what you must be to be important. Because you don't walk around with a label sticking out the back of your clothes. Well, actually, I suppose some of them do, right? Gucci, big line on the back of the thing. But we don't walk around with our bank account balance on our foreheads.
No.
That is not where our value is. Our value is in our heart, in our actions, in our caringness, in our respect towards one another, in our meaningful purpose in life. That's where the value is. And we have to go back to our self-value to understand the value of all other selves.
Yeah, I mean, the responsibility, I think, what's the responsibility? People in movement have the responsibility. If they will to use this responsibility, we cannot blame one individual who's leading us. We can ask ourselves, who put him in the positions? We did.
Yes,
So
yes.
if we did put him in the positions, why we cannot make him drive our ideas? Why we blame him? So because we have also the responsibility of not doing well. So to change what we are not doing well, so we need to think about ourselves. So if it is them who's doing it, we have to come back as movement.
Yes.
As purpose.
Yes.
I remember exactly when the climate change has been denied, we have the first climate march in New York. And then every single town in the world, they make a big climate march. They say People's Planet. So this climate march make the all their decision making of the world to change the mind. We get for the first time into Paris Agreement a social package. So why did we get the social package? Did they change those people who negotiate? No, they didn't change them. They are the same because they saw that peoples lead the movement and responsibility of each individual was outside of the street, saying that you have to change and you have to change it right now.
Yeah.
And you have to put this human rights-based approach to the life of the peoples who are getting destroyed, because it's the responsibility of all of us. And then come immediately the developing countries, and the developed countries put the ambitions. They say, we have an ambition. We need to put it. Of course, we have the responsibility of those who are polluted must pay, but we also take our responsibility to play our part. We cannot go with insustainability, we have to change. So that's how the people's movement can work and how we can take our life on our hand.
Yes.
So we must see how it's work, when it's work, and change them.
Yep.
We are the master of our life. We do not ask to change them just in one click. It's not a magic, but it's just the transitions. So the just transition is mean for everybody to keep his life, as you say, to keep It's fun to keep the new technology, to keep all the evolution that coming on the life, but to keep it in the just way, where it's respect the other life who are getting impact from this action in a responsible way. We do not say when we shift from the fossil fuel, okay, shift from this fossil fuel, all the thousands of the people who get job on there, who are the poor peoples, who have a mouth to give food back home, then also kick them from their job, and then just to shift to the sustainable energy. So you should shift to the sustainable energy by keeping the job of those peoples.
Yes,
because,
retrain.
yeah,
Retrain them into the new knowledge that they need. It's not kick them out, it's retrain them.
You have to keep them life to become much respectable.
Right.
It's also them sustainability. So to make the just transition in them life, shift them from this dirty one to the sustainable one, create a new opportunity for peoples for the coming, create a new innovations, because we are so smart, we have a good technology. We can make a big market. We can make job creations. We can make our life much better than what we have now. But we have to do it not in terms of fear.
No.
From each other cannot help us. We need to rebuild this confidence we have as human beings. This confidence is best of the community way. If we are individualism, we cannot have confidence of someone and trust him. So to build the trust, we need to have confidence on someone. And we need to have also our life built on just a natural way. So when we say the knowledge between science and traditional knowledge, and then the scientists are always fear from traditional knowledge. They say like, no, it's not confirmed. We need to confirm those knowledges. So we need to see how it's work. And then I come and say like, okay, well, how are you going to confirm the knowledge who have been there for thousands of years?
Yes.
So you are doing PhDs. It's just a piece of paper written down. It's very important, I know, because it's confirmed. But where did you learn it? You make research. This research, you make it where? You make it in the nature. You make it for just like 7 or 10 or 12 years to come with a document called PhD because it's confirmed. But those knowledge are from the generations for thousands of years who already confirmed. So if we have value to give them, it's much more than PhDs, much more than. So why we cannot just get trust, confidence, and accept it because it's worked for a centuries. And as well as human being, so if we know someone and telling us or making this progress, we can just close the eyes, get face on this person, confidence on it, and shift our life. Of course, the transition will take some time. Everything will take some time. So make this sacrifice to take this some time to give you the better life. For me, the transition, the just transition is an investment. It's a long-term investment on the life. So we need again to stop thinking about the short-term, immediate term we have. When we say like long-term, the long-term need to be built as community, need to be built in the trust way, trustability, and in responsibility. And then we can have the sustainable, better life for all of us. I think work can do that. When we come back today, I came back yesterday from the climate negotiations. We discussed many issues, but 2 things have been rescinded to the next negotiations. The one is the 1.5 report. So the 1.5, it was the report asked by the head of the to the scientists to tell them where are we now with the climate impact, what window that we have to make an action to reduce our emission in order to get our sustainability limited to 1.5 degree. The scientists analyzed 6,000 of papers, and then they come up with the result. We have the 12 years of window, but we need to act in a very ambitious way.
Yes.
And when we come back into the adoption and recognition of this report, we have the same state who request the report. Some of them say like, no, I recognize, but I do not endorse this report. Why? The reason is asking them much ambition, much action.
Yes.
And then they say like, no, we do not endorse it. Why did you ask it for?
Right. Basically, you're asking them to step up, and the excuse is they don't want to step up. That's really the bottom line of it, right?
Evidence is not the politic needs.
Right.
So then they tell them the realities. And then there is the alarm of the peoples like us who telling them that we having flood, we having fires, we having drought. Please, you have to act in a responsible way.
It's not tomorrow, it's today. It was yesterday. Yes.
It was yesterday. And then the science tell you, and then now you are rejecting it. And then saying that we do not agree. Okay, we need to revise it to the next negotiation. I found this humankind, it's so
frustrating.
Frustrated. Exactly. It's so frustrated. I say like we say something and we make the opposite of it.
Right.
So are we responsible? So this is one of the responsibility we need to revise. We need to hold them accountable of what they say, the word that they are pronouncing, so they have to be responsible of implementing on it. And then the second thing who have been rejected is the market, obviously. So the carbon market. So the name already, the word market, is directly linked to the profit, linked to the benefit, and then they spend a lot of time and saying like, okay, all right, we do not agree, we are not going to agree on it, so we have to resend it in C because I wanted to access to this market, I wanted to get this profit. We say like, what is the profit? When you talk about people life, people die because of your action, and you are talking about the profit that you want to make on it. What is the deal? You cannot put the life
dead people. Yeah, and dead people can't buy from you. No. Dead people are not going to give you a profit. So if you don't provide that sustainability, where is the profit going to come from? Because there isn't going to be anybody left.
Right. So who's going to buy from you? Who made you this profit? And who made you that you are the first one in the world who get a lot of profit? If those people are dead already. So that really cannot work. So you need to think about the balance between, okay, if I want to make the profit, who is going to be the buyers? And who is going to make me, I'm the one who get the profit. So when we put this balance, you forget about, okay, I need to profit to protect the peoples and then make the profit after. And then this was so frustrating to see, like it's still the market-based managing peoples.
Right.
So peoples must manage the market base and must make the life sustainable than the market, because the market can make our life much miserable than sustainable.
Yeah. And you know, I invite you again to also look at Polly Higgins of ecocide law, which will actually make it a criminal act to knowingly do any practices that harm humanity or planet. And she's doing a wonderful job on that. And then there's John Bunzel, who's come up with a simple solution that you can vote in to your government, people who are going to get behind the simple solution, as a synchronistic one that everybody can implement around the world. And it's 3 basic steps that is bipartisan. It's by government. It is a human and an earth platform of everybody being in sync in the same language to address these 3 problems for the greater good of the planet and the people and life forms on it. There are so many wonderful people out there. We're not looking for solutions. There's so many out there. We're looking for people who are willing to implement them.
Absolutely right. They are. We are so smart that we create it, but there are people who create a lot of solutions.
Yes.
They are there. They are just out there. So now access is one thing. Implementation is another. Mm-hmm. So that's also come to the trust of the peoples. Right. So you need to trust them and trust those solutions. So from indigenous peoples, we always offer these nature-based solutions that they're calling it. So we offer it from the indigenous people's traditional knowledge, the wisdom that we have with the nature,
Yes.
the Mother Earth that we live in harmony, the observation of the nature that we have for centuries. So how we can change the life of the peoples who can copy from what we are doing, and that can give them the sustainable life forever. People coming back to say like bio is the most nice, so it's good for our health, it's good for our next generation. Indigenous people living in bio for centuries.
Right.
So how we can help, how we can like value the traditional agriculture, the family agriculture, how we can just to say like the industrialized one, you have to stop and move to the supporting the traditional and make the balance in the market and give the profit to this community, buy from them, and
yes,
what the market and
support. Yeah, and you know, it's a case of this going back to us in our heads. We've gained a lot of knowledge, so-called intelligence, but what we haven't gained is the wisdom to know what knowledge is relevant and prevalent.
Right.
When you go back to indigenous people that truly have for thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years, lived through in harmony and in sync with the planet and the universe, take that wisdom to know which knowledge, new technology, new other knowledge is applicable within balance. It's not a question my knowledge is more superior than yours. No, it's the wisdom to understand how to use that knowledge safely and in a way that's in harmony with our ecosystem.
Absolutely. So how we can learn this wisdom, how we can reuse this wisdom of using those knowledge who are incredibly relevant to our life in a sustainable way, and how we can also make this innovation, innovators peoples who making the solution, who thinking every day to make our life much easier, to recognize this solution, to implement them in a right way, and then how we can make this access those who do not have.
Right.
And this is the way of do not leave no one behind, because no one deserves to be behind. And this is the concept of the difference between the MDGs and SDGs. So the Millennium Development Goal and the Sustainable Development Goal. Because the Millennium Development Goal took 15 years of our life. Doing education is important, health is important, access to the land is important, everything, but implementing in the single way. And when it's become the single way, it's create more the imbalance and then left many people behind, left people like us behind of all the new technology coming, all the new development coming. But it's still for us, it's not a drama because we still have our beautiful life that we are living in harmony. But who is still like in the way of destruction? That's the sad part. So the Sustainable Development Goals say like, our objective is to do not leave no one behind. So to do not leave no one behind, we need to learn from this wisdom of sharing, wisdom on sustainable implementation of using of those knowledge. All knowledge are very important. All knowledge are valuable. There is no any single knowledge who is important than other. We cannot say like the science knowledge is important than traditional knowledge, or traditional knowledge important than science knowledge. But how we can combine two of them in a balanced way can help us to better live. So that will be the most important for the humanity, to see the two marriage, to accept it, to recognize it, and then to use it in the sustainable manner.
Right. You know, that's, I mean, we're not saying no technology. We're not saying no advancement. I mean, we would not do these shows without technology, which, you know, allows us to actually get this voice around the world. Technology has its place. What we have to do is technology cannot replace. It has to be in sync with harmony, with our planetary needs, because unless you're going up into space and, you know, nothing to do with the planet, we're still residents here. We're terrible renters. We really are. You know, we're not paying our dues. We're leaving garbage behind. We're breaking things. And it's time for us to step up and go, hey, come on, that's just not kosher. Stop doing that. This is not the way to live. And I think, have a little self-respect, folks. Have a little self-respect. Would you want somebody to come into your household and treat your household the way we're treating the planet? The plastics in the oceans killing all our stock, the capturing of dolphins, the inhumane way that we slaughter animals, and the manufacturing, just mindless manufacturing of them as than nothing, the way we treat anybody that's so-called poor as opposed to the importance of people that are rich. We have got this obscured thinking. We know there's so much dysfunction in people's lives right now, and it's a trickle-down effect on everything. That dysfunction is there because we've lost our connection. We've lost our connection to the respective planet. We've lost our connection to our souls, our spirits, our hearts, and we've lost our connection into our community. And that needs to be brought back in harmony with the new technologies and innovations, because it will be the technologies that will help us bring about the balance. But again, wisdom to use the knowledge, to implement it. No more excuses. We're not looking for any more excuses. It's not activism, it's actionism. It's time to act now, and each one of us can do something, right?
Absolutely. It's time of action. There's no excuse to do not make the action.
No.
Time of talks, it's end. Time of reading and doing research and reporting, end. It's time of action, and action for peoples and by peoples.
Yes.
And the technology is not replacement. The technology we created, how we can create something to replace us. Technology can complete what we can do.
Yes.
So how we can use it in a best way, how we can add our intelligence, but not how we can replace our intelligence. So that's also not many people's feeling about the new technology coming, because it's replacing the work of the peoples by robot. But behind the robot, you need always someone who can have a look.
The programmer. So it's a changing dynamics of the way we use our knowledge. Yeah.
So how we can change this dynamic by creating a space for the human more than something that we create ourselves.
Right.
So when we just to take, even as you said, going to the space, yes, that's only technology, but the nature, they have to take it with them, because in the atmosphere, it's not creating the food that they have to eat to survive into the planet Mars or whatever. They use the food that they go within, or they're recycling the food that they are having. So these other planets do not have this system to do it. Only this planet for now, so far we have the one who recycling to get us our survival sustainable. So why not we cannot respect it? Why not we cannot give it back to this who is giving us everything? So
we're not respectful. We've lost our way. We became,
to recognize it. So that's what is needed. And it's needed at action, and it's needed right now to every single voice manner, every single action manner. If it is collective action, it's much impact, but individual action have also a big role to play on it. So let's be responsible, and let's be accountable to our heirs.
Yes.
And let's make it work for peoples that we do not see, even they are far from us. Yeah. We know that it's helping them life, impacting positively or negatively. So then we can think about how we can do it to impact them positively, and how we can do it for ourselves.
Yes.
To make ourselves work.
We've got to remember we're an organism on this planet. We're not a supreme being. We are an organism on this planet. And if the ecological balance is not in play in this earth, then this organism is going to die out, because we're killing it. So we have to understand, rich country, poor country, that is just the dollar mark you put on it. The richest countries are those that are in that sustainability, that are in that harmony with the land. And we must not let any country be poor, because if there is starvation, there is too much greed and waste. North America is absolutely abominable with the waste. It's absolutely frightening, the waste. They don't even take the waste and put it back into the land to recreate. And there's so many starving people on the street, and they have laws not to feed the starving. Oh, I could go on and on. But the point is, step into your humanity, step into your action, step into your responsibility, and understand you're just another species on this planet. There's nothing special about you other than the fact that you actually have a voice and you can think for yourself, and you actually can do something that is meant to elevate these species up to another level. That's your responsibility here, not your right. It's your responsibility, and it's time for us to step up. And that means holding those politicians accountable. You know, those, oh, I want to think about it, or I don't think of, no, holding the responsible. I don't care what you think. We as a humanity know, step up. You are a representative of the people, and the people are saying, we want our voices heard. So we have to understand the balance of the planet is in all of its organisms. And we have to make sure that balance is there. It's not in the richest country's bank account. It's in the soil, it's in the people, it's in the weather harmony, it's in all of that. And we've got to stop looking at riches as the be-all end-all. The enrichment is an enriched society. Would you please let people know where you're going in you know, this wonderful 2019, what's up next for you, where people can find you, and also how they can reach you?
Next for me is always action in my life. So I will go back to my community, who are the nomadic pastoralists, moving from one place to another one to find water and pasture, but also living in harmony with the Mother Earth. So they are in Chad. They are around Lake Chad, who's getting shrinking more and more. They are around the center and the south of Chad. So I will go back to them. I get my energy from them, hearing from what they left during all the couple of months that I was not there with them, and how we can plan the better life for the 2019.
Right.
But I also will be at the all international discussions where they will discuss about our future, to remind people that they are not taking the decision for themselves. They are the decision maker, but it is our life that they are deciding on it. So we have our voices to be taken into consideration. So I will be around all the sustainable development goals. I will be around the climate change. I will be around the biodiversity, and I will be in the voice of the people so where they can hear. So around the world, in the earth, I'm the citizen of the world, but also I'm the citizen of my community. So they can find me whatever that they want. They can find me in a new technology via email, via Facebook, where my email is hindououmar@gmail.com, or in my Facebook completely is my name, Hindou Oumarou Ibrahim, or Twitter @Hindou Oumar. So new technology, yes.
Can you spell your name, darling, for those that are not seeing it? Can you spell your name for them?
So in my name, it's Hindou, Hindou, Oumarou, Oumarou, and Ibrahim, Ibrahim. So my name, you can put it in Google, in everything, you can find it. But also you can find me in my land. That's where I wanted to have many people to see how we are living in harmony, to see also how the impact of the climate change, what the people's doing outside impacting us. So I will be very happy to share this life with you. And yes, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's. And thank you so much, Sara, for this opportunity.
My pleasure.
The New Year's new voice.
And, you know, thank you for your voice, your dedication, your passion, and your conviction, because, you know, we talk about the scientists all the time, and we talk about laws, and we talk about that, but having somebody who's talking from the indigenous land, the wisdom, it's having somebody talk about the wisdom, not just the knowledge. And again, knowledge is just knowledge. Until you know how to apply it, that's where you need the wisdom. Right? And you bring that wisdom, you remind us of that balance is what we're needing. And to remind us is that we're all participants here on this planet. And it doesn't matter whether we are where we are, we've all got to step up and do something about it, not just wait for someone else to do it and you'll follow like sheeple. It is about, what can I change in my own life? Do I need to buy this? Can I buy less than from the local market? Can I grow it myself? Can I eat less? Could I go to veganism? Could I change this or that? The whole thing is this: yes, you can. Nobody says you have to do it overnight, but start integrating changes and you'll see how easy it is to change. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. And may 2019 be an absolutely awesome year for you. And thank you for starting it off on this Let's Get Sync series. I invite everybody to go back and listen to the last 3 months of shows that we've done under Let's Get Sync. There truly are some awesome people like Hindou there that are stepping up, shaking it up, waking us up, and showing us the path that we can all take. And they're doing it from that place of heart, conviction, and passion. And it's inspirational, folks. It's also invitational. So may you be invited to step up yourself. So thank you, Hindou.
Thank you, Sara. Thank you, everybody who's watching us. Bye.
Bye-bye. And until next time, folks, bye for now. For more wonderful shows like this, please go to selfdiscoveryradio.com, podcasts, and see our lineup. And if you wish to support us, we have a funded button. Please stay tuned for our next show.